at the Image Comics booth. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing posted up here?
Being a professional. They were like, hey, we need somebody to sort of like color the place with the professionalism.
Yeah.
And I'm a professionalism.
Professional. Rick, what are you promoting here at San Diego Comic-Con?
I got a new book coming out through Image called 7 to Eternity, which is a fantasy book that we've been working on for a few years. It sort of explores the theme of compromise, which I find really fascinating.
Nice. Love compromise.
Yeah, well, nobody really does, but we end up making a lot of them. And so it was a concept that you're always looking for something that you want to talk about and something that you want to say. And I found that concept to be quite fascinating, and just the concept of compromise in general is something that we're doing every day, which is really just a matter of scales, trying to make the better compromise in all these decisions.
Our users are probably most acquainted with a book you wrote called Deadly Class. It's it's being made into a series, correct?
It is. Yeah, we're working with Joe and Anthony Russo, who are producing it, and it's going to be with Sony Television, the people who made Breaking Bad and Preacher and a million other wonderful things. And so, yeah, we're in the middle of getting that put together now.
So in Japan, things generally start as comics, and then they're turned into an animated series, and then they go to live action. And we were joking before this interview, like Deadly Class is being turned into a live action. Do you think there's ever any possibility that it could be animated? Because it's made for it, really.
It feels like, yeah. I mean, we did a Japanese edition of the book, and it did really well. And I just feel like it's a great fit for something like that. So obviously those avenues are all open, and it's something that we'd love to see. The budget of animation allows you to basically have no budget.
Yeah.
And so, really you
do whatever.
Yeah, you're not held back by like the limitations of, guys, that's not going to happen. We can't blow up half of this or bring this giant thing from there, and so.
Just seeing the way like Saya moves and even though it's set in San Francisco, things like that, but it's just screaming, I want to see like a really good animator on that, and
it would be amazing. Yeah, and it would fit very well, and I think people would dig that, and I would dig it, obviously, but it's a matter of, I think, one thing at a time right now. And look, I mean, the tone of it fits anime. It's not going to be a Saturday morning thing.
Before you were in comics, I believe you were working in animation, and you worked on things like Tainei, which is a favorite of mine. I'm obsessed with Tainei.
Obsessed with Tainei? You're the one.
I'm the one. No, I'm in over my head. And animation takes a very long time.
It's not easy.
No.
It's and I used to call it incrementally moving lines closer to my grave. Just sitting there like, oh, all right, I'm gonna die, and all. There was a scene in Anastasia that I was an assistant on that a bunch of dancers explode out of paintings, and there's this.
During the song. Dancing Bears.
There's this giant misty thing that pops out of it and then slowly dissipates, and it all had to be shot on ones, which means you keyframe it, break it down in between it, and then in between it again. And I had broken it down in between it and in between it again. It was 4 months on one of these. And that was when I recognized that, like, this might not be what I want to do.
Oh my gosh.
But now traditional animation's mostly dead in America, so those jobs are gone anyway.
Everywhere. Do you have any advice? There's a lot of our users that, want to be writers, they are doing their own comics. Do you have any advice for them on how to, just create what they want to create? Get it out there.
Yeah, for me as an illustrator and a writer who had a passion to do both things, I worked as an animator, a writer. I've written things like, Dead Space for Electronic Arts and Bulletstorm for Epic, and I storyboarded From Russia with Love for Electronic Arts. You want to sink your teeth into as many aspects of the different crafts as you can, because it all teaches you something else. It all speaks to what you're making, no matter if it's a comic or a cartoon or a screenplay. And so I would say, the most important thing is to not wait for somebody else to give you a tap on the head and say, come on in, welcome to the club. Here's your sandwich and your art table, or would you like a script? Because that doesn't happen. It's really a grind of you. Once you decide you want to do this thing in a field that is highly competitive, and most people love the idea, like, oh, I'd love to write stories and sit around. And it seems like it's going to be so wonderful until 20 years later, you're like, what happened? I got a hunched back. What happened? My youth is gone. You have to be ready to a lot of time alone and to sink into it. And the biggest thing I think is just to, pardon my French, but just shut the fuck up and make your thing. I think that was what I did, you know? So when I was working in animation, my nights were spent writing and drawing and inking comic books. And
oh, cool.
Yeah.
On the side.
On the side. So I basically worked 7 days a week and did both things until finally some of the books caught, you know, some notoriety and some interest.
Yeah.
And then I just kept doing it. And it was really, I started making comics in 97. And I don't think that things really started to click until like 2005.
Oh, wow.
So you have to be ready to...
Just have to grind.
To grind. That's right. It's true.
So just remember, kids, just make and grind.
Make it and grind, yeah. And then that should have like a guitar lick if you get that in.
Hashtag make and grind.
Make and grind, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me. Is there anywhere you can let us know so our fans can find more of your work or you or like read your bad tweets? I don't know what you...
I've got plenty of bad tweets. It's just Remender on Twitter, and then rickremender.com is my website, and I post all my garbage up there, and you can follow my garbage and keep up with my garbage.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us and letting us know where we can see your garbage.
My garbage. Wait, what did you call it?
Interview. Throw the mic. Anyways, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.